And here we are again. Unsportsmanlike conduct, fantasy hockey. Back in action, because hockey's back in action. Exciting first week. This is Buzz Birch. I'm joined, as always, by Kipper Cooper.
Yo.
And our current and previous player, Rodney Muttergard, plays in the men's league in New Mexico. You can catch him there.
Great numbers.
In weekends. Rodney Muttergard, what's going on, Rod?
Not too much, guys. Good to be back. Good to be back.
Oh, it's good to have you, Lightning. Lightning Rod 49, as he's known on Twitter. So let's jump right into the fantasy hockey.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Exciting. Full week now. We have a full week. Actually, a little bit more. Approaching like 8 days.
We know a lot more now about what's happening.
We
in
know
the league.
we have an actual idea of who's actually playing, who's not playing, who's still holding out. PK. But before we get into that stuff, let's talk about. Let's go hats off to a couple people actually real quick.
Hats off is right.
Hats off for a couple hat tricks. We've got 4 of them going so far. Eric Stahl, hats off.
Yeah, very, very good in the league.
Gabrick, hats off, hat trick. Steve Sullivan and Matt Reed.
I'm out of hats.
Out of hats. That's all of them. We threw them all out on the ice.
They keep asking for hats.
Lucky for any of you guys who had those players. Probably not Steve Sullivan or Matt Reed, but Gabrick and Stahl probably got some good points for, I'm sure, some of you. A couple 40, 50-point games for them. Who else was hot this week? First week. Who looks good? Kipper, Rodney. What you got for some hot names?
Patrick Marleau.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking 9 goals, 4 assists. +6 overall, and San Jose hasn't
lost yet. He's on a great line.
Yet.
He's on an amazing line. He just can distribute. He can shoot goals. It's what he does.
It's what he does. And even right behind him, too, Thornton, 10 assists. 10.
Well, Marlowe's getting all these goals. I mean, someone has to be feeding him the puck.
He still got 3 goals as well himself. I don't know, Rodney, who do you like this week early on?
Early in the week, not so well, but towards the end of the week, Pavel Datsyuk is really bringing it for Detroit. I think they're starting to get it together.
Slow start,
really
but
good for those guys.
hopefully.
Well, they're a good team, like they're veterans, they're crafty.
Year in and year out, they're always going to be there.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
For sure. Another couple good games or good players on the defensive side. Someone who's been playing lights out. Victor Hedman. He's got 2 goals and assists for Tampa Bay. +7 on the defenseman. Carlson, I wasn't so sure you should pick him up that early, but so far he's proven his worth.
Well, he's an offensive-minded defenseman. He's going to get you points. He's going to get you points.
3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points so far. That's for a defenseman. That's great. And also another guy is Shattenkirk, 8 assists for St. Louis.
They're proving to be a very nice little team there. Anyone on that team, if they're out there,
St. Louis looks good.
Definitely keep watching for St. Louis. He's definitely a good forward.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For the Blues too.
That's totally true. Well, St. Louis, for Tampa Bay, 3 goals and 8 assists. He had 4 in his last game. That was against Philadelphia this weekend.
Even Stamkos has been playing really good.
Oh, of course, 2. I think 3 goals and 7 assists. I mean,
the Lightning have just been ripping it up.
Yeah, they're real hot. They're tied for the league in goals for them in St. Louis. So those are some real good teams, and a couple of those players have been playing real good. How about in the net? Who do you guys like, Rodney? Lightning Rod. Who's your top netminder?
I can tell you who it's not.
Okay, who isn't your top?
Since I have Jonathan Quick on my team, and I picked him number 2 overall for my team.
Yeah, jumping in
way down. He's last in the league right now with high 8s percentage. Not good at all.
Currently for Yahoo, rated a 43rd out of 46 eligible goalies. And this is a guy who is taken
cup
first
champion
overall.
Here. We're talking cup champion here.
Yeah. And he was taken in the first round. Sorry, not first overall, but first round. And you know, 90% of leagues, I'm sure, probably the top goalie off the board in most leagues. And so far, complete shit.
I expected a better showing out of him. After winning the cup, I thought he would come back and have a swagger to him, but he appears to kind of.
I don't think he's come back from winning the cup yet. That might be part of the problem.
He's
with
still
this
riding
LA
the
team.
high.
Well, they're not the Kings; they're the Queens.
And they haven't had Kopitar. They just got back. He had 2 goals in his first game back. So expect the Kings to, I think, hopefully rebound somewhat.
Hopefully for their sake. I mean,
for their sake. A good goalie though, on the contrary to Jonathan Quick, Craig Anderson and Corey Crawford.
Yeah, Crawford
5-0 right now. Hasn't lost. 5 wins, 9 goals allowed, and then Anderson for Ottawa, 3 wins, 3 goals against.
Well, you're seeing who the cream of the crop is in the league by seeing who the goalies are. The guy Crawford from Chicago got a great team around him.
That's true. He's got obviously the talent around him kind of holding him together, as opposed to Anderson, who they have some offensive minded guys, but not a whole lot on defense. So he's really
the thing about Crawford is that they're really, really good. So I mean, he's not going to give up many goals.
Right.
There's not going to be a lot of opportunity on him. Is really what's going to come down. That's going to help him all season.
Yeah.
He's going to be fresh come to the end of the season, where other guys that might be good are going to be worn down.
Yeah.
Covered in rubber.
Covered in rubber, man.
That's right.
I like it.
Someone who kind of already disappointing, taking a lot of shots, not getting any help whatsoever. One of the shit players so far has been Holtby.
Oh yeah,
for Washington, they gave him the start for the season.
Basically.
All of Washington, basically, but Holtby in the specialty, they gave him the first 2 starts. He gave up 10 goals and lost both of them. Hasn't looked good.
No.
But Washington, you're right. Who else from Washington? Who else can we think of from Washington?
Some
that's been
overpriced man
in the first week. Who the
He's
hell?
been switching around all year. He's been on both wings so far. They put him back to his original position. I think we're talking about Novi. I think everyone knows that by now.
Alexander Ovechkin.
Ovechkin.
Yeah.
Minus at the end of the week, he did get the game-winning goal, but before that's his first goal of the season.
Yeah.
Definitely underperforming.
Very slow start for, because another guy who picked, 4th or 5th probably overall. 1 goal, 1 assist. He's -2.
He has not looked good.
He hasn't looked good, but he's still got the hits.
Well,
he's still hitting people. That's still solid
points. Aggressive. He's an aggressive player. He gets physical. Maybe that's like hindering his goal scoring because he's playing on such a bad team that he has to feel like he's playing defense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
probably,
what
I'm
maybe
sure.
Thinking.
Absolutely,
but his numbers are definite. I mean, I wouldn't get rid of him.
Yeah, you can't get rid of him.
I wouldn't even bench him. I wouldn't even bench him.
Of course not. You don't bench. It's still Ovechkin. The potential is there. I mean, he's underperforming. What I would do, if you find a sucker in your league who has him and is not too savvy, try to make a trade for him now because his stock is going to be low, and obviously it's not someone you want to part ways with. If you can sucker someone into getting to him, to trade into him while the trade value is low, you can really make yourself a case for the rest of the season because obviously
his numbers are going to pick up.
No, of course.
Yeah,
even if they don't
get better.
Yeah,
and there's always suckers in every league that you can steal some players for.
Yeah, so I would try. I would make a move for him if you don't have him. Try to get him. I know he hasn't been good so far, but try to get him if you can. Again, another team that hasn't been looking so sharp, but probably will eventually. Los Angeles Kings, again, struggling. Mike Richards, Dustin Brown, guys that were picked early. -3 for Mike Richards so far, the plus-minus, -4. Mike Richards still without any points. Neither one of them have a goal yet. Kopitar
he's coming back. He's gonna come back.
He had 2 goals already. His first game back.
It'll definitely make an impression on the team. But
yeah, they're primed to get better, but be easy. Be wary in this first week. Quick is losing. I mean, they're not. LA's not looking sharp right now for this.
They were the 8th seed last year. They just had a magical run. I mean, maybe they're just not a regular season team. I don't know. Maybe we're seeing that this year.
They do have youth, though. You'd think with a shortened season.
Oh
they
yeah,
can just plow through.
But we've been saying, they might be a little complacent right now.
True.
Something like that, but also but
Kopitar coming back, we might see a different
big
team.
Boost. Yeah, hopefully we should at least give him some confidence.
I mean, he is their superstar.
He's their playmaker. So hopefully the rest
fantasy
of the team,
wise, he's their best player on their team.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have him on a team, and I'm putting him in right away.
That's a big comeback.
You can't not play this guy. The rest of the team, be wary on, but look for them to rebound. Probably towards the end of this week. Maybe not early on. I think they have a couple tough games early, but towards the end of the week. They do get, I think, a soft game. Yeah, so they should be all right by then. However, they're still better than people who aren't playing. Rodney, what's week 2 PK watch?
Week 2 the PK Subban
Who's
watch.
on the shelf this week, sitting there collecting dust? What's going on?
He just needs to come out and sign the contract and get playing. Everybody's excited. They want to see him out there hitting fools, scoring, throwing it down.
Yeah,
he's an exciting player to watch.
Exciting player, probably the most exciting defenseman to watch right now, especially fantasy wise. He's him and Carlson at least for points.
Definitely we need him out there. Just a ratings boost for the league.
Sign the contract and for Montreal.
It's a good deal. It's a good deal, PK. Please. We want you in the league.
And also we got Joffrey Lupul. He went down after just getting paid $28 million. He's now the $28 million knick-knack on the shelf.
On the shelf.
He's done for the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And in this
Nice
short
season,
season, you might as well drop him at this point, especially in your shorter leagues. There's plenty of people out there. Get rid of him, pick somebody else up.
Yeah, I had the unfortunate pleasure of having him in one of my leagues, and I did make the move to drop him because, in this kind of shortened season, you're missing 2 months.
Yeah,
that's you can't rely on a guy. And same thing. Also, I was screwed enough to get Scott Hartnell in 2 leagues. That's right, both my leagues. He's also out at least a month. Also collecting dust on the shelf. Shame on me for getting him in both leagues. That's putting all your eggs in one basket.
Well, it's
bad call, Buzz.
You thought he was gonna. You thought he was gonna have a great season,
and he probably will. I'm hoping. I'm stashing him so far. I'd really like to keep him as long as I can because when he comes back, the guy, he's got plenty of penalty minutes. He gets great opportunities, goals and assists. He's a point scorer guy, and he gets a lot of penalty minutes. So he's definitely good for fantasy numbers, but.
He's good for Giroux. If you got Giroux on your team, it's helping you out.
Yeah, that's probably good for you. Well, maybe not though. I mean, in the last game, they just dropped to the Tampa Bay pretty handedly. They lost 5-1. So we'll see how they look without him.
Other teams only have to concentrate on. There's one less guy to concentrate on now. You just shut that one guy down and you push it to like your lesser knowns,
the AHLers.
Yeah. And hope for the best that way.
However,
team be you, not the star.
Yeah, looking into
good point, Rod. Good point.
That is definitely good. Let's look though, keeping up with those injuries, still the guys who aren't there. Let's look into for next week. What's some of the waiver wire pickups? Let's check the scrap heap.
Ooh, the scrap.
Who
heap.
is hanging around in the junk? Who can we pull out? One of the guys is he had the hat trick earlier. Matt Reed. He plays for Philly.
Not a lot of people.
He's gonna get
him.
some. He's not owned in very many leagues at all. He's a young guy, 22.
With injuries, he's going to be getting some playing
that's
time
just
now.
it.
Should
He's
get
going to
get some numbers.
Could it just be a first week fluke, or do you
It
think
certainly could be, but a hat trick is definitely going to open some eyes, at least get him the playing time and the opportunity.
Yeah, I guess I
pick
could
him up,
that.
see how it goes. Maybe don't force him into the lineup. I'm not saying take
But
out
pick him up, maybe
Gabrick for him or something like that. But pick him up, and if you have the spot for him, and see where it goes, because he's going to probably get some playing time. Also, anyone lucky enough, if you check your leagues now for Corey Conacher for Tampa Bay. Guy's been playing lights out. 2 goals, 5 assists, +4 overall. If he's available in your league, which he's available in about 35% of leagues still in Yahoo.
That's crazy.
Pick him up.
It's crazy. He's a good young player.
And again, like we said, Tampa Bay, one of those teams to target top in goals forced at 24, and he's been a large part of that.
Well, another guy on Tampa Bay, Sammy Salo.
Oh yeah, the old vet.
I mean, he's not like it. Not a lot of people have them on their teams. It was a pretty low percentage.
+9.
That's incredible for
Sammy Salo.
For their defense. For their defense.
Yeah, that's saying a lot.
Insane.
Another couple guys, if they happen to be there. Tarasenko for St. Louis. If he's in your league, he's got 16 shots on goal already, and 4 of those going in. So. Definitely good. And another guy for injuries, Toronto. Take a look for Kadri. He's a 22-year-old. He's got 12 shots on goal, 3 goals, 2 assists. He's still available in 65% of the leagues right now. So with Lopo being out for at least a month or two,
statistics.
He's a guy who might be able to step up in there and pick him up.
Yeah, and Sergei Gonchar.
Of course. Again,
he's not in many leagues
available.
either. Yeah,
he's been solid. 3 assists, 9 blocks too. So he's getting some.
He's a wily old vet. The wily old vets are proving it.
Yeah, and of course, what's just a good way to go by this is plus or minus. Getting opportunities out on the ice. So overall, what are some teams that people can look for in their fantasy waiver wire? Just top teams. Obviously Tampa Bay and St. Louis, we said, were the top goal forcers, but
you definitely got to look at San Jose, Chicago.
Of course,
both undefeated.
Good point.
Are they going to make it to their head-to-head matchup? Is the question.
Yeah,
now.
you got like about a week and a half to go. It'd be awesome if they're both undefeated at that point.
It'd be unheard of if they could both make it.
That would be incredible.
Far.
I'm actually thinking someone from Philadelphia is going to step up. I would, maybe target one of their deeper guys.
Like that Matt Reed guy, I think is going to definitely be hopefully. But right, maybe like Simmons might step up here.
Yeah,
I think he's healthy.
With Hartnell being down,
he might be actually injured. I think Simmons as well. So
well,
especially
both of those guys being down, there's going to be some young
Someone's
person.
got to step up.
Someone's got to get the statistics on that team. So I would look for them. Ovi's gonna come back too. He's gonna.
Yeah, Washington probably should rebound. At least to some extent. I really probably wouldn't bank on too much at the moment. They're still getting kind of lit up.
They're making
on
the
defense,
turn right here.
They're starting to make the turn.
They're making the turn. They're doing better than Los Angeles is.
Yeah. And that's the good time, like we said, for trade value. When the teams are down, that's the best time to target them. So make a move if you can.
I got something for you, Buzz.
Lay it on me.
What about Vancouver? Last week we hated on Vancouver.
Well, we hated on them pretty hard, and they're mixed results.
I was like the biggest hater of them all.
Corey Schneider's especially one guy we kind of shat all over.
Yeah.
Really
kind of
laid him in the
shat on
junk
us,
drawer, and he kind of shat on us. He did.
I don't know if we should clean him off quite yet, though. I mean,
I'm not convinced, and he's still sharing time with Luongo. They still haven't figured that whole thing out. Schneider's only 2-2 so far, so I mean it's not completely.
I feel like
dominant.
they might still be just building up the Luongo trade value. I mean, they brought him in for 30 saves on 32 shots.
That's true.
He got
They
the
might
win.
be playing the hype.
He did give up 2, but that's 30 saves. I mean, that looks pretty tight.
Well, the game the other night against Anaheim, he looked very, very stout, where he gave up 0 goals.
Yeah. And
then he comes back and gets the loss
Anaheim
after.
game. Yeah,
I mean, you got to wonder where Schneider is.
So that's why he's kind of up and down. But
I thought that he was going to be an HL. So the fact that he won a game has impressed me.
We had him on the stink lines definitely going into this week. So he's 50-50 on it.
I feel like Vancouver as a team right now is just mediocre city. There's
They're
not
kind of
really much
mediocre.
to talk about there. With the names they have there, they should be making a lot more noise.
They really should, and that actually is a good segue. Thank you, Rodney, to one of our fantasy games of the week. This Friday they have Chicago at Vancouver with said Schneider presumably in goal. And yeah, like you said, some of the scoring power, the Sedins, and then on the other side, Chicago still hasn't lost.
I think Chicago's going to be lights out. Schneider.
Schneider.
He's going to be asking to be taken out at the end of the first period.
But I think. Well, maybe.
I would expect one of the Sedins to get a goal in this game.
I think it's going to be closer than I guess the current. I think it'd be what we expected at the beginning of the year, where they're both. Vancouver is a good team. Something's got to give, and it's probably Luongo getting out of there. Maybe he's in Schneider's head or something like that, just having him around.
Yeah,
it's definitely going to be head game. When you're pulling goalies in and out, they don't have that comfort.
No, they don't.
That space, knowing that this is my net, I know I'm going to be in here night in and night out.
Yeah, Schneider, if he gives up maybe 2 goals in the first period,
that might be enough.
He's looking over his shoulder the whole game.
Yeah, it's tough for a goalie, so be careful on that. But offensively, like I said, Sedins for Vancouver, and then on the other side, Kane has 9 points already for Chicago. Osa has 8. Toes and Sharp both have 6 points, and then Crawford in goal 5-0. Chicago, anyone for Chicago's got points, so play them if you have them.
A couple other really good defensive players.
Yeah,
and I mean they're just amazing this year.
Vancouver's mediocre, but I could see Vancouver actually winning this game.
They could because they have the talent.
They should be better than what they like. We should be talking about them, but
Vancouver,
they're just not doing enough.
Yeah, so keep them on definitely keep your players active for Vancouver because
anything can happen.
Anything's gonna happen, and they're a good team, and that should be a good game fantasy wise on both sides.
What other good games are there coming up?
The other one, really looking forward to. New Jersey's going into Pittsburgh on Saturday. That should be a good one again. We have on New Jersey's side Clarkson and Elias both have 6 points. Kovalchuk's got 5, and then in Pittsburgh, obviously Crosby, Malkin, and Neal.
Their numbers haven't been as good as we
not
thought
as good.
they were going to be.
Malkin's only got 6 points overall.
Marc-Andre Fleury's actually doing better than I thought he would be doing.
Yep, 2-1, only 7 goals against. So, but either way, this should be some good fantasy value in this game.
Yeah, you also got to give it up to Kovalchuk for his shootout win.
Yeah,
I mean, excellent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he did come back from Russia. He didn't take the $30 million to stay with Putin.
Yeah.
So we like to see him back over here in the States playing really nice.
And actually, another guy who might still be available, or probably you might be able to get some good trade value for. I know so far he's hot, but Brodeur.
Yeah,
three
the old man.
wins and 1 overtime loss. So he's playing. He's old, but he's playing like a vet. The shortened season works out in his benefit.
I would consider starting him.
Oh, of course, yeah. New Jersey's playing really great right now.
If he's not, and he's still in your league, pick him up immediately. He's a
and if not,
vet,
like you said, he might be a low
stockpiling numbers for the Hall. That's all he's doing.
He's in the Hall of Fame,
but I mean,
he's
still playing at top-notch levels. It's not like he's just compiling the numbers.
No, he's arguably
he's still getting them, but he's still earning them.
Yeah. The dude's incredible. He's arguably like the best,
Yeah.
goalie in history. He's playing forever, and he's still got viable fantasy options. So
Fantasy wise, I think that he's a really good player.
oh, he is. He is.
not
And
just like a
they're gonna-
legend on the ice. He's also
He's a viable
he's
option.
Still like
Yeah.
a playing legend.
Yes. So he still has fantasy value, absolutely. So make a move for him if you can. Either way, New Jersey at Pittsburgh, that's also going to be good fantasy value. Keep your eye on that one. Should be good.
I smell something right now.
You smell something, yeah. I can smell that too. How did you know I was about to bring this up?
I don't know. It just went into my nose.
Well, I
all
think
these players
what
coming
Kipper
up.
smells is the stink line.
The stink line.
It's who's gonna really suck it up.
Yeah.
At least for our predictions. For this is going into the next week now.
Yeah.
Looking ahead into this coming week.
Ooh.
Yes. By the way, this is a Monday night right now. We're sitting outside of we're in Raleigh, Durham, in our nice little tour bus.
It's very nice and spacious in here.
Yeah, about 50 degrees outside. It looks like a nice, cool day. We're not actually at the game. There's a big game tonight. They're playing Boston.
Yeah, Carolina,
But
Boston, good game.
we're at a bar nearby, and we're gonna be watching the game on the screen. We went down there, tried to get some interviews earlier, and got the shaft.
Well, that's what happens, I mean, sometimes
Even though we have the ex-player, or current player,
There's,
Rodney.
lack of press passes and laminates and such.
I think so. We tried to connect to him on a player-to-player level, but they kind of scoffed
Yeah, they
at your
dismissed
days on the
you.
yellow
Yeah.
team. They didn't seem to think
you're a
that
hardened
was
player, Rod.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen your numbers.
they
They're
just
incredible.
don't respect the goon.
Your penalty minutes
Maybe not.
alone are like Hall of Fame worthy, I feel.
All right. Well. Anyway, let's talk about what stinks, what smells, what shit. Who's on the stink line?
Who's on the stink line?
Who's not going to
next
do
week?
good? These are guys who you probably have on your team.
It's a prediction.
and should consider not playing this week.
Mm-hmm.
More unfortunately for gut feeling kind of thing. But sometimes the numbers in this case kind of act up. If you have someone better, do it. We're not saying sub in the fourth liners for these guys, but
Like at
if
least
it's
look into maybe
look
making
into
a move.
it. If you have a better option in your league, or if you can make a trade.
Some of these guys
still
only play
early.
a couple times, so you don't get a lot of numbers out of them, So they
So
don't necessarily need to stink, They just
But
aren't.
this week they're gonna stink. I'm starting off with for my stink line. Ryan Callahan of the Rangers, a guy pretty average draft position, but he's definitely playing in pretty much every league. -4 overall.
Horrible start.
The Rangers should be way better than they are.
Yeah,
especially with
only
the
one
acquisition
goal,
of
and
Nash.
they got a couple of tough games playing against. I think Tampa Bay coming up, and a couple of tough teams, offensive powerhouses. So look for that minus to keep growing. Avoid him. He's still got lots of hits. He's getting the hits in, but again, that's not going to win your fantasy week. Goals are and assists are, and I tell you, he's not going to get very many this week. I expect him to stink. Sit him on the bench. If you have an option, make it.
Well, speaking of giving up goals, I'm going to tell you who's on my stink line.
Tell me.
For goalie, Jonas Hiller of the Ducks.
Ooh, yes.
I mean, he has started off playing pretty good. He's been getting some wins, but he plays San Jose, Minnesota Wild, and LA, and I think
That's a tough stretch.
he's got a tough stretch
That's
coming
a tough
up.
stretch of goal scorers.
And I think even if he wins at one or two of those games, he's still going to give up, at least 5 goals within a couple of those games, without a doubt.
Well,
He's got stink line
he's
on
got
him.
a stink line written all over him. I can smell him from here.
I mean, I would just consider putting him on the bench for the week. Actually,
Not a bad idea.
Jonas Hiller,
because
Anaheim Mighty
Anaheim,
Ducks.
they're probably he's going to get you solid starts later in the season, but right now he's got a tough schedule. Be careful about it, really.
And defensive wise, as far as the stink line goes, not so much going to be the smelliest guy on the line this week. Mark Street from the Islanders.
Lindbergh.
He's not putting up any numbers for a guy that's this good. He's got minus. I think he's like a -4.
Yeah.
He's got 2 goals, 1 assist. He's only had 6 hits.
that's pretty
His
weak.
numbers are like below mediocre for a player of his caliber on such a good
yeah.
team.
And
the
right.
fight?
And
it's-
he's only in 2 games this week.
Where's the fight?
Yeah, that's
So
another thing to consider.
This
is
might
how,
be the
how
week to
little.
sub him out if you can. If you have another defensive guy, even somebody that might just be playing more games than him is probably a better option.
He's in the junk drawer.
Put him in the junk
Put him
drawer.
in the
Be
junk
careful
drawer.
with them. Islanders in general right now, they're playing like they wanna. They're trying to lose games. It seems. Yeah, I watched them
Maybe they
collapse
want to get
last
draft
night.
pick for next year.
Might already be thinking about it. It's a short season. There's an asterisk
They've been
next to it
thinking about
anyway.
next
They're
season
pointing
for a
about next
while
year.
now.
Yeah. Well, they're thinking about next season. We're going to be thinking about next week. Next week we'll be coming from you live somewhere else. This week we're going to go enjoy the pub. We're going to watch that Carolina Bruins game, and
It's going to be really nice.
hopefully it should be a good game.
But let me tell you about what's going to happen this week on the Kippers Pain Train.
Ooh.
Okay.
Enlighten us, Kipper.
This week, the Rangers, Rick Nash, his finger is going to be cut off by a skate in the third period of this weekend's game.
Jesus.
It's gonna be a bloody scene. He'll be out, maybe 3 to 4 weeks.
That's all?
It's-
Just 3 to 4?
Well, they're gonna sew it back on. I mean,
So they put it on ice.
they put it on. Yeah, it's gonna be on ice already, so it's not like they're gonna have to worry too much about it, But it's gonna be a graphic scene. So
That sounds gruesome.
don't let the kids watch SportsCenter this week.
That sounds very terrible. Hopefully,
I hope it doesn't happen,
Of
but I
course, I
see
hope
it
not.
in the future happening. I mean, it's gonna be a clean cut. Like it's not gonna be like really.
Well, at least it's not gross and hanging dangly.
Yeah, it's just clean cut off.
All right, so they can at least reattach it. So
It might-
only 3 to 4 weeks. That's not too terrible.
This has been the Kippers Pain Train.
Well, thank you for the ride in the pain train. Any last words, Rodney, before we head out? Looking into next week?
Nope.
Not really.
I like it.
Nah, you pretty much got all of his points out.
Who's the yellow team playing this week?
We are going to be playing the gray team and the light blue team.
Oh,
Nice. So those are some
Yeah.
good wins
Looking
to watch.
forward to it.
Light blue team not doing so well this year.
So if you happen to
they,
play,
they are actually in the junk drawer as far as our league goes.
if you
Nice.
live in New Mexico and happen to play men's league fantasy hockey, Rodney Muttergaard is definitely a worthy start there. So look for that. Should you happen to play in that fantasy
I
hockey
do.
league. Yeah, of course, we all do. But join us next week. Next Wednesday, we'll bring you out a new set of predictions and failed predictions. Basically,
Yeah.
you can join us there. We'll meet you there. Otherwise, follow us on Twitter, Unsportsmanlike Conduct, at Buzz Birch, at Kipper Cooper, and
That's me.
at Lightning Rod 49. That's our vet, Rodney Muttergaard. So
Great
thanks,
numbers.
Great numbers. Thanks for listening, sports fans, hockey enthusiasts, fantasy buffs, whatever, whoever you are tuning in.
As always,
As always,
Kipper Cooper.
Buzz Birch.
Rodney Muttergaard.
This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct. We'll see you next week.
Weird cards.
This has been Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Tune in next week for more hard-hitting coverage of the games you care about.